Hey guys, how's it going? Shakiel Mahjouri here. You can call me Shaq for Fansided MMA. And today we have, you know, they call him a bully, but from all accounts, everything I've seen online, he seems like a pretty decent guy. Ricardo Lamas, how's it going, man?
Good. How you doing?
I'm doing good. Thank you very much for making the time today. I know you're off to a Russian bathhouse after the. What is a Russian bathhouse exactly? Because I have never been to anything more than like the apartment sauna.
Well, it's pretty cool. They have a bunch of different rooms, different types of saunas. They have right in the middle of it. They have this real huge jacuzzi that's actually filled with water from the ocean that is constantly like pouring in through this pipe over top. They have ice dips. So it's just kind of therapeutic, and I use the ice dips a lot, especially this is my last week of camp, so just to kind of heal up the body, recover a little bit, use the ice dips, use the sauna, and just relax.
So you are fighting Darren Elkins. I think it's the co-main event at UFC Buenos Aires on November 17th. But before we get to that, I have to know, who bit your thigh during jiu-jitsu practice?
It was one of my training partners. I had him in a triangle, and he wasn't wearing a mouthpiece, and I guess like he was trying to fight out of it, and my leg was kind of around the mouth area there, so ended up with some teeth marks. But
Do you wanna call him out? Do you wanna let us know who this villain is?
Danny Chavez, he knows who he is.
Danny Chavez,
The Colombian warrior.
Colombian warrior. Yeah, well, you know what? That comes to the territory. Do you guys not normally wear mouth guards when you're grappling?
Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. So it's. I mean, most of the time when I'm going live, I tend to have it in because otherwise, when people are trying to slip chokes in and stuff, you could cut the inside of your mouth up on your teeth, with the arm going across there and all that. But sometimes I do not. So
fair game, man. As long as you got your teeth, right?
that's right.
One last thing before we move on to the fight. How mad do you get when people look at your dog like it's some sort of vicious beast?
I get pretty upset. You've been stalking my Twitter.
I am, man. I like to, when I talk to people about what I do in terms of interviewing fighters, how many times are you going to be asked about your fight and Darren Elkins,
Right.
Sometimes it's fun to get to know the people behind the gloves.
Yeah, so the whole dog thing, like I get it all the time.
What kind of dog do you have? Is it a
English Bull Terrier, and that's actually where the nickname the Bully comes from. Is I'm a big fan of all those bully breed dogs. So that I've had two. My first English Bull Terrier that I had was like the nicest dog in the world. This one is the nicest dog in the world too. He's very good with people and would never like attack anyone, but just the reaction I get from people, like, I've been on an elevator with the dog, and like the door will open and people will like not notice and walk in, see the dog, and then walk right out.
Really?
Well, yeah. And then on the street too, I've had people stop like dead in their tracks and like just stare at me and the dog like I'm brandishing like a handgun or something. So it just gets kind of annoying. I'm like, you need to calm down. Well, even if my dog was aggressive, do you think I'd just like let him attack you or something? And the last time it happened though, this lady was about to jump onto the sidewalk that I was walking on, and she was in the street, and she stopped dead in her tracks and like hunched down and was like staring at me and the dog, and my dog saw it and was like, and like started giving her these little barks. Because it was just weird. She was like in a very weird posture and like staring at us and not moving, and my dog was kind of like, what the hell's going on with this lady?
Yeah.
So he would never do anything. He'll bark sometimes, but as soon as you get close enough, he starts wagging his tail and wants to get pet.
Yeah, I've never really understood that. I mean, I get that some people might be afraid of dogs, and I know I'm a little too comfortable with animals sometimes at my own potential detriment, but if the thing is on a leash, you're probably okay. And especially when you're the guy holding that dog. I don't think that bull terrier is getting too far.
Yeah, exactly. And the leash I have is like a real strong leather leash, and it's
Hmm.
also got a strap that I put like around my body.
Yeah.
So there's no way I'm letting go of it, and he's not going anywhere.
Can you like? I've never heard of that. Can you walk him like with no hands? Like, can you just like walk with the strap on?
Yeah, you throw the strap on, put one arm through, it goes across your body, and kind of attaches to him.
Huh.
So I could be walking without holding onto the leash. It's actually really great when I take
Yeah.
my kids for walks and like I'm pushing a stroller or something. I don't have to have like a hand on the leash. It just kind of goes around.
That's pretty cool. Should look
Nice.
into that.
Yeah. Yep.
Are they like super pricey? Is it like obscene for a dog leash?
I mean, it's made out of leather. It's nice. It
Yeah.
might have been like $30, something
Oh,
like
that's fine.
that.
Yeah.
I got it from a trainer that we were using to help train my dog.
Mhm.
So when I saw it, I was like, oh my god, I gotta have that. So Suburban Canine is the company.
There's your
So I
plug.
think they have it. Yeah.
Now let's talk about this fight a little bit. I know this is probably a pretty significant fight for you. You're coming off the first ever 2-fight losing streak in your career. What does that do to you mentally when you're preparing for this fight?
It makes me a lot hungrier. It makes me work harder, makes me train harder to get back on that winning track. Losing is not fun. It's not something that I'm a fan of. So we're just going to go ahead and end it right now, and we're going to get back into the win column on this one.
You are not looking for a participation award in MMA, I take it.
Definitely not.
Uh, Darren Elkins is an interesting matchup, I think, because obviously you and most MMA fighters in the sport now are very well rounded. But I think you've been fighting a lot of fighters whose striking might be their main weapon. How do you think your grappling matches up to Darren Elkins' grappling? Because obviously his wrestling game is very pressure heavy.
I think my grappling matches up well with anyone. I've submitted very high level black belts. I submitted a guy who has the most submissions in the UFC in UFC history.
Yeah.
So in Charles Oliveira. So I'm not afraid to scramble on the ground with anybody.
Where do you think Darren Elkins is at this stage of his career? Because it's been kind of a weird trajectory for him since he joined Team Alpha Male. He was his persona was always that of a gritty fighter who can win at any moment, and he went on a pretty impressive streak. He came back against Mirsad Bektik, who you fought recently. He came back against Michael Johnson. What do you think is going to be the biggest challenge when you fight Darren?
I think you said it right there. He's always dangerous in a fight. You could be winning and he'll come back. I know Darren. We've trained out of mutual gyms. We've trained together in the past. And I'm a big fan of him and his fighting style. I love the grit he has. He's just, a humble Midwest hardworking wrestler,
Yeah.
just like I am. So anytime you put two people like that in the cage, it's going to be a hell of a fight.
Predicting fight of the night?
I think we could definitely steal the show.
Yeah.
For sure.
Any thoughts on the main event?
Sponzinibbio's been doing really well, but Neil Magny is somebody who always impresses me also. Don't really have a can't really call that one, but I'll definitely be watching when I finish my fight.
Have you been to Argentina before?
I have not. I've never been to South America, so pretty much the only place I've been out of the country are Philippines and Mexico.
No Canada?
And Canada.
And
yes,
Canada.
there you go.
Good. Come visit, man. Don't forget about us up here.
Sorry about that.
Do you enjoy that part of? Do you like the travel? Because for me, I would jump at any opportunity, any career for men. I got to go to new places.
Yeah, if it wasn't for the UFC, I've gotten to visit a lot of places where I probably never would have been able to go. So in life, it's all about the experiences that you have, and traveling and seeing the world and seeing different cultures kind of opens you up and I think makes you a better person.
Last question for you, Ricardo. Why were you doing yoga with a goat on your back? Because I could not make sense of this one. Even the hashtags. You said something about mental health.
Because it's awesome.
Fair enough.
No, it's being in nature, being with animals, definitely helps with mental health. My wife was going through some postpartum depression and stuff like that, so she was really looking into a lot of that stuff about mental health. And when you're with animals, you tend to just forget about all the other worries and enjoy yourself in that moment. And it was a lot of fun. I'm a huge animal lover, so is my wife. Been that way since we were kids. So she actually set it up, so I got to give her props for that one, because I had a great time there.
So was it some sort of like goat?
It was an excuse to pet goats and play with goats and let goats jump on you and all
That's
that.
Oh man, that's so
I
awesome.
I did about 5-10 minutes of yoga and about an hour and a half of playing with goats. So.
Yeah, cool. Because I know that's something they do at a lot of universities now, is they bring dogs in.
Yeah.
What is it about animals? Because I have my own theory, but I definitely agree that anytime an animal is interjected into my life, it instantly makes me feel better. What is it about that human-animal connection?
I think it's just that energy that they give off. Especially like dogs. Dogs like love unconditionally, and it's there is some sort of unexplainable connection that humans have with animals, especially dogs, and it's just great, man. You could be stressing about something and go pet your dog or go hug a goat or let a goat jump on you and you forget about all your worries.
Yeah, I think what I love most about dogs in particular, but apparently goats, is that it's a very simple exchange. You give them love, they give you love. You don't have to worry so much about nuance and ulterior motives. It's just, it's good energy for good energy.
Exactly.
Ricardo, and I always got to ask, it's worthy of a headline, yet no one ever seems to give me this answer. Do you have anyone you plan on calling out if you are to beat Darren Elkins?
Not in my head. When I'm focused on the fight, I'm focused 100% on my opponent, and I tend not to look past them. I know that through my career I haven't been as vocal as I probably should be. So I guess you'll have to tune in on fight night and see what happens when they hand me the microphone.
Fair enough. Ricardo Lamas faces Darren Elkins at UFC Buenos Aires on November 17th. Ricardo, thank you so much for making the time.
No problem. Thanks for having me on.